call the meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mr. Ramos?
Here.
Mr. Lindeman?
Present.
Mr. Sabal? Dr. Gomez?
Here.
Mr. Berain?
Here, and let the record show that Mr. Sabal is not feeling very well, so he won't be with us tonight. Superintendent's report.
Good evening, Mr. President, board members, members of the community. First of all, I'd like to start with sharing some information regarding our textbook adoption process that we have going on. As you can see outside in our patio are multiple resources that we have on display for feedback purposes. Before the committee makes a recommendation to the board, we have different dates, so I want to share that with the board today. On March 19th, we invite parents to review materials from all the vendors here and provide us feedback. Mr. Nunez and his department will have a sort of a rubric form for feedback. And March 16th through 20th, we invite staff from all schools to review and provide us material feedback as well. And March 23rd through the 25th, we will have the publishers here to make presentations of their product to the public. So that is open to any and all members of this community to be present. And the last day of display for feedback is April the 17th, and we will be bringing this to the board for approval probably in May. Okay. I also want to share some information regarding obviously, the information that is being shared out there about what schools should be doing to prevent any virus contagious with the coronavirus. And so we have been receiving information from the Department of Health, ADE, and I wanted to take this opportunity, as I did share it with the district staff today, that obviously we know this is a concern, and we know that Arizona has only one case that's been recorded, and it wasn't community spread, so it was under control. But this is what they're telling us that schools should be doing. We need to review our annual sick policies, and we need to ensure that students and staff who are ill to please stay at home, especially if they have any respiratory problems. We are ensuring on our end that there's routine cleaning and disinfecting that is taking place at all of our school and district facilities. We ensure, and as most elementary schools and middle schools do, have hand sanitizer, soap, paper towels, extra Kleenex boxes, so that they are widely available at all our classrooms. We also remind students and staff to cover their coughs and sneezes with facial tissue or elbow, and to wash hands often. Remind families and educators of the importance of vaccines. And, you know, there's not a vaccine for this virus, but we can take the opportunity to discuss preventative measures. So as more information is being shared with me by the state, I will be sharing information with our staff and parents. So I wanted to take this opportunity. They're not recommending any school closures by any means right now in Arizona. So that's the information I have as of today on that. This week is known as National Reading Week, and so many of our elementary schools are celebrating by having Dr. Seuss Week. And so today I attended Miss Joni Duarte's preschool classroom, and I read to the kids as part of their Dr. Seuss Love of Reading Week. And we have spring break coming up next week. And Thursday and Friday is early release. Thursday is our regular PD day, and Friday kids leave at 1 so that teachers have that opportunity to finish quarter 3 grades. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Just for public consumption and to bring the board back up to date, the adoption of the textbooks is specifically for what?
Mr. Ayers?
Yes, Mr. President, members of the board. The ELA, it's the English Language Arts textbook adoption, and we're currently looking at an adoption for kindergarten through 12th grade. However, based on cost, funding, and availability of textbooks, we may make that in phases, but again, we would bring that to the board for approval.
will there be an actual capital investment if you decide to go with the textbook rather than the present procedure that you're using?
Yes.
Okay. Members of the board, any questions or comments regarding this?
To Mr. Nunez, so these books are for everyone, or are they just ELS?
So it's for English language arts, which is also reading. So reading is kindergarten through 12th grade. And so, yes, it would be for every student in the district.
Okay.
When was the last time we had an adoption?
2004.
2004? Is that
Yes.
why the district had to employ somebody to run 24 hours, copying machines and all those things? Is that what this is going to be in lieu of eventually?
Well, I don't want to say that we won't need somebody to run our print shop. As you know, the print shop runs all of our printing for the whole district.
No,
And
no,
I'm-
I didn't imply that you're going to get rid of the print shop. I'm just saying that is what actually.
Yes,
has been
intentionally.
done.
A large part of the
Yes.
printing that has been taking place over the summer and last year and some of this year is the printing for our current resources that we're using.
Any other questions or comments, members of the board? Superintendent, your students on a roll and student of the month.
Yes. All right, at this time, students, if you are present, I'm going to ask that you come up and get your certificate from Mr. Nunez, and then we will take a picture at the end. For Clausen, we have student of the month is Ruth Quintero, and favorite subject is science, and would love to be a scientist when Ruth grows up. Not sure if Ruth is here. Yes? No. Not here? Do we have Emily Orduño Ortega present for Clausen? She's a student on a roll. Favorite subject is math and wants to be a YouTuber when she grows up. She'll make money. Ferris Student of the Month, Fabian Valenzuela. Fabian's favorite subject is math, and he would like to be a firefighter like his dad. Student on a roll, Brisela Suarez. Sure she's present. Favorite subject is writing, and Brisela wants to be a fashion designer. From Ferris. Joe Carlson, Student of the Month. We have Marisa Cross. I don't know if she's here, out there. And student on a roll for Joe Carlson, Fernando Encinas. Favorite subject is math and wants to be a police officer when he grows up. Our Sarah Marley students, Student of the Month, Kaylee Siqueiros. Not present. And student on a roll is Rosie Valenzuela. Her favorite subject is writing, and she wants to be a fourth grade teacher, Mr. Nunez, so you need to sign her up now. Our Stevenson Student of the Month, Aaliyah Monreal. Favorite subject is science, and she wants to be our hairstylist. Student on a roll, Natalia Piña Anguiano. Is she present? Nope. For Paul Huber, we have Student of the Month, Alfred Brinker. Favorite subject is PE and wants to work in security. Student on a roll, Bethany Durazo Moreno. Favorite subject is math, and she'd love to be an immigration lawyer. Awesome. For Ray Barain Middle School, Students of the Month, we have two, Mia Trujillo Martinez, or Maya, I don't know if I said it right. Math and band are her favorite subjects and wants to be a surgeon. Awesome. And Citlali Romero Gomez, Favorite subject is art. And she'd love to be an office worker. Good job. And Douglas High School, 2 students of the month. We have Alfredo Romero. His favorite subject is math and wants to be an engineer. And Victor Anaya. Amaya? Anaya. Favorite subject is biology and wants to be an FDA medical officer. And student on a roll for Douglas High School, Manuel Durazo. Favorite subject, agriculture and welding. Not sure if he's here. No? Okay. So these are our students of the month for DUSD and students on a roll. Students, Mr. Nunez is going to take your picture and ask you to get close to each other so that you all can fit.
Everybody look at me first and then you'll look at your parents, okay? 1, Samaniego, can you come? There you go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, parents.
We can have one more round of applause for the students. Yes, and we're going to have you stand and go around and just, out to your parents. And thank you, parents, for coming. And I do feel old because I see one of my former students who now has a child here.
Want to thank the parents for all you do with your children, and especially those that got recognized tonight, and also thank the students and for them to continue in their endeavors. And we're going to start the board meeting on official business now, so I'm sure you people don't want to sit here and listen to all this boring stuff, so we're going to take a minute to let you leave if you want. If not, you're welcome to stay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was wondering if we were going to shake hands because they say nothing, right?
Oh, that's her daughter.
You know, and I was talking to somebody because
She was my former student.
Oh, the sharing of the food.
Esta de chaquetita negra, delgadita.
Waving to Jeff. Right, right. No, you can't share the cup.
well, that's what we don't, they don't want to do, right?
I'm seeing that on the diocese. I'm seeing about that. But I can't take it.
Governing board members, do you have any summary? Item E. Reports from ex officio student member Jimena La Madrid.
Mrs., we didn't have any information on
She
human.
said she was coming.
Okay. She said she was
hasn't
coming
been here. She
in the
hasn't
last
been
3
here
months.
For about 5 minutes, for about 5 meetings. Is she okay? Do we need to send out an exploratory?
A search party?
Mrs. Trevino, can you kind of just check in with her and maybe let us know prior? She said she was going to be here,
Yeah,
right?
they met with her today.
Tell her
Okay.
to let us know when she's coming back, because we want to have a welcome back party for her. Business reports, Mr.
Doing
Soto.
the sports, so
Good afternoon, Board President, Board members. I do have the cash reports for the month of February. We have a few more months to go. And just a reminder, I think the first cutout date is next month for the out-of-state purchases. Any questions you might have about the report? Maybe April, May, we're gonna have a final revision like we do every year on the budget. So again, nothing major happened yet. I also have the travel report. Any questions on that?
Does the board?
That's all I have then.
And I do want to point out on the travel report what Mrs. Valenzuela did, just to make it a little bit easier. She did alphabetize it for us, so because before it was all over the place and you were trying to find my name, you couldn't find it because I was somewhere in between, but now it's alphabetized, so I just wanted to point that out. It's a little bit easier.
Mr. Nunez?
Yes, our current enrollment for February is 4,105 students. So we're progressively going up a little as current enrollment is taking place, the open enrollment. However, I want to remind you that as of, in comparison to February 2019, we're down 126, just in comparison to last year this time.
You know, it might be a good idea if you mention that the district is going to be meeting as far as a boundary committee is concerned and getting out that notion early, way early, so that people are aware that the district is doing that and that there's going to be a period of time when certain things are going to happen. So you want to go ahead and
Sure.
report on that boundary committee?
Well, currently, one of the things that we wanted to share with you all is that we're looking at, we're convening as a district, district administrators and staff with regard to boundaries. And so many of you that perhaps as school administrators are here will be a part of that committee in taking a close look at our current boundaries and proposing some new boundary changes for the upcoming school year. These changes wouldn't take place for the upcoming school year, not until the 21-22 school year. So we're looking at how additional ways of how we can adjust our boundaries and to be more effective and efficient for our schools and our students as well.
Okay, thank you. Item 2A, approval of the following consent agenda items. Expense vouchers 2030, 2031, 2032, 2033, 2034, and also the student activities and auxiliary voucher reports 309, 310, 3011, and payroll vouchers 16 and 17. Entertain a motion to approve.
I move we approve.
By Dr. Gomez.
Second.
By Mr. Lindeman. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Ramos?
yes,
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes,
Mr. Berry?
Yes. Item 3A, discussion on the approval of certified hires. Ms. Samaniego.
Yes, as presented, and these are all just emergency substitute hires.
Any discussion? Members of the board, entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
second,
Second by Dr. Gomez. Roll call.
Mr. Ramos?
yes,
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
yes,
Mr. Berry?
Yes. Item 3B, discussion action on the approval of classified hires. Ms. Samaniego.
As presented, we are filling in some of the positions. We have currently a custodian for Stevenson Paul Heber Middle School, a few IAs, and that's pretty much it. So, as presented.
Entertain a motion to approve
Move to approve.
by Mr. Lindeman.
second,
By Dr. Gomez. Roll call.
Mr. Ramos?
yes,
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
yes,
Mr. Berry?
Yes. Item C, discussion.
Mr. Berrain, may I interrupt? If you want to have anybody
Oh,
introduce themselves?
do we have any new hires here tonight?
I don't know if we do or not. Nope.
Obviously, we don't. Item C, discussion action on the approval of certified retirements. Ms. Samaniego.
Yes, as presented, and these are effective. One is effective at the end of this school year in May, the first one, and then the others are for end of 2021.
Entertain a motion to approve.
or do we, well,
We get a motion on the floor.
Yes.
Motion by Dr. Gomez.
Second.
By Mr. Lindeman. Discussion.
yes, do we know who is who?
Yes, so the first bullet point name is an English teacher retiring at the end of this year,
The other two?
and the
are-
other two for
Okay.
2021.
Mr. President, I'd just like to say that we have a member of our retirement in the audience, Mr. Ross. I want to thank you for all your years of service to our district.
But he's gonna go one more.
Yeah.
He has one more year. He's not out of the woods
In
yet.
case you're not here next year.
He was ready to make an acceptance speech, sir.
Yes, yes, he was.
Roll call.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Bereen?
Yes. Item D, discussion action on the approval of classified retirements. We did, that's what we just did, right?
No, this is now
Oh, that's it,
classified.
yeah, this classified.
Yes.
Ms. Samaniego.
As presented.
Entertain a motion to approve
Move to approve.
by Mr. Lindemann, second by Mr. Ramos.
Yes,
Good.
but I wanted to ask a question. Why didn't we have any background on as to the reason for their retirement, especially the ones that are leaving early?
Certified?
I mean, the resignations.
I think he's making reference to the letters, the one I asked you about, why there weren't letters in there regarding their retirement and anything else that they wish to say in that document.
And that was for
I-
classified.
Classified, I didn't include it because usually we don't include, but I did include the certified except the one for the other section.
The only time on classified you actually have any documentation is when there's special circumstances. Okay.
But the ones for certified, I did include.
Yeah.
Did you hear that, Mr. Ramos?
Not all of it, but I got part of it, so, okay.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have we have a motion on the floor?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Roll call.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes,
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Bereen?
Yes, item 3E, discussion action on the approval of transfer to another position. This is,
These are two classified transfers and increase of hours.
entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Mr. Lindemann, second.
Yes.
Dr. Gomez, discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Ramos?
yes,
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Bereen?
Yes. Item G,
These are not increased.
E.
F, yes.
We'll give one. A discussion action on the approval of increase in hours. Ms. Samaniego.
Yes, and so this one is by itself because it's not transferring into another position. Rather, that same position is only increasing by 1 hour, and it is being funded by JTED.
Okay, entertain a motion to approve. By Dr. Gomez,
Second.
second by Mr. Lindemann. Roll call.
Mr. Ramos?
yes,
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Bereen?
Yes, item 3G, discussion action on the approval of volunteers. Ms. Samaniego.
As presented, we have two, and one of them is a coach's college student observer, and then an assistant baseball coach volunteer.
On the assistant baseball coach volunteer, because of some recent activity, that person will have to be certified by, not necessarily by the state board with an athletic coach certificate, of course, but he does have to take the basic requirements of the, what is
AIA?
it, the International
AIA?
Federation of Coaches, or what is it?
AIA?
Randy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they will have that, right?
Yes.
Discussion action on the approval of request to rescind certified retirement. That's item, did we?
No, we need a
didn't vote
motion.
on
You need a
that?
motion.
Motion.
I move to approve.
Okay, second by Dr. Gomez. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Ramos?
yes,
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Bereen?
Yes, item H, discussion action on approval of request to rescind certified retirement. Ms. Samaniego.
As presented, you had already approved Mrs. Gallardo's retirement letter, and you have that background, I believe. And she wishes to stay,
Okay,
so we
good.
bring this back to the board.
All right, good. Entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Second by Dr. Gomez. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Ramos?
yes,
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Bereen?
Yes. Item I, discussion action on the approval of donations received for Douglas Unified School District Number 27. Ms. Samaniego.
Yes, donation of 81 boxes of Velcro to Douglas High School staff. Don't know what they're going to do with all that Velcro, but
What are you going to do with it? I mean, seriously, why would we take it if you don't have a specific need for it?
school and staff, yeah.
The
The teachers are able to use it in their classrooms to hang different items. Instead of using tape or staples, they can use the Velcro. I actually got a box and I've used some.
I don't know what he has up on the walls, but, or who is up on the walls.
You're being
Okay,
creative,
good.
right, Mr. Walker?
All right, roll call.
I need a motion.
Motion.
Move to
Oh,
approve.
sorry, by Mr. Lindeman.
Yes.
Dr. Gomez, second, roll call.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes,
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes,
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Bahrain?
Yes, item 3J, approval of certified staff contract renewals for 2020, 2021. Samaniego.
I do have one change on that list, and I don't have them, we don't have them numbered, but I'm going to make it for the record. Before you make a motion, I'd like to remove the number 30 name, and I've already discussed it with Mrs. Valenzuela, and she knows exactly which name it is, but it'll be number 30 to remove that from the list before you make a motion. Will that work?
Entertain a motion to approve with the exception of the name. For specificity, you don't have them numbered.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Will that work, or do I need to say the name?
Say the name. I mean,
Okay.
this could be something that could have ramifications. You better just say the name.
Okay, Bojorquez Samaniego Silvia.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to approve with the exception of the name just read by the superintendent,
I move to approve.
by Mr. Lindeman. Second by Dr. Gomez. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Ramos?
yes,
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes,
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Bahrain?
Yes. Item K, discussion action on the approval of the facility use of agreement between Douglas Unified School District and Chiricahua Community Health Centers. Is there somebody here representing them?
Yes,
Good.
we have-
You want to come up to the podium because I think we're going to have some discussion on this.
Hello. Hi, I'm Mary Ramirez. I'm the Mobile Dental Program Supervisor for Chiricahua. We have a partnership with the Ronald McDonald House Charities, and the partnership is basically us bringing dental care to communities, rural areas that have the need for it. And from how busy our clinic is at the GRC, we do realize that there is a need for us to come to the schools and see other patients for dental care.
Okay. First of all, I want to frame this whole conversation because it's going to be important because whatever the board does here tonight, it could have some ramifications and it could set a precedent. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions first, if you don't mind.
Of course.
First of all, we'll all affirm that the document is legal. Both attorneys have looked at it. It's a legal document.
Yes.
The question becomes whether or not this board wants to approve that and have that memorandum of understanding with you. All right. So before I get into some of this legal stuff, I want to ask you, you just said that it was for rural areas that don't have those services, correct?
Yes,
Okay. You do have a dental office here, right?
we do. Mhm.
Okay. And there are other dentists in town, correct?
Yes.
I notice in the agreement that you're going to charge, if they have access, you will charge them.
Yes,
If they don't, you will use a sliding scale.
yes.
And then if they don't have anything, and then I want to ask you, according to your procedure at the office that you have here in Douglas, what happens if they don't have the insurance? Do you give it to them free?
So we do not give it to them free. We do bill the parents, but we don't see patients without talking to the parents and letting them know. If you would like for us to see your child, obviously they have to sign up. We have to contact the parents. It's completely up to them. But we bill those services out. And we do offer prompt pay incentive for patients who do decide to pay our price. And we also offer, if they're out of network with our insurances, for them to fill out an ABN form or a form where they can bill their own insurance.
Okay, so you don't do anything different at the Mobile that you would do downtown, correct?
No,
Okay, so it's all going to be the same services?
same
The
services.
same accounting, the same fees, everything?
Same.
Okay. Now, this is for the benefit of the board. And to me, this is very important because if, depending on what we do, we could open a Pandora's box here. And And let me just say, kind of preface what I'm going to say is, after the discussion with you and your answers, it just seems to me that all you're doing is putting a branch office on the Douglas High School campus, because you already have the services offered at a facility locally. Okay, so let me just, this is for the board. This is an Attorney General's opinion that was written by then Attorney General Janet Napolitano. And I'm just going to read some bullets, and then we'll go from there with the discussion. It says a school district may allow the governing board, concluding that the providing access to dental services to a civic purpose in the interest of the community under ARS, and it gives a statute, the school district must charge the organization a reasonable use fee and require proof of liability insurance. Now, we know that with the memorandum of understanding, that's already included in your contract. Then it goes on to say that school property is authorized to do this, and that students covered by access or other insurance may pay a discounted rate for the services. Now, this opinion is written specifically for rural communities that, at the time this was written, I was someplace else, and I was very familiar with it, because it is a very good service for rural community, Indian reservations and so on. Then it goes on to say that the uncompensated use of school property is permitted only for school-related groups or organizations whose membership is open to the public and whose activities promote the educational function of the school district as determined in good faith by the school district governing board. Then it goes on to say that 151105 uses broad language that would encompass a wide range of activities. The words recreational, educational, this is language out of the statute. It says in the ordinary meanings of and the definition allows such activities if the governing board feels it to be in the best interest of the community. All right. Here's another statement. A lease to an organization that provides dental services could, under some circumstances, serve a civic purpose in the interest of the community. For example, if a school district is in an isolated area where children may have limited access to dental services, which you alluded to, providing such access could be a useful service for the community. This is a determination that a local governing board must make based on the needs and interests of the community that the district serves. The question that this lease raises is whether a company may lease school property to an entity that intends to provide a service to students for a fee or to be paid through insurance or a governmental program such as Access. Based on this analysis, and that's this opinion, it says if the school district governing board determines that providing access to dental services serves a civic purpose in the interest of the community, the district may lease the property. The school district must exercise its discretion with great care in a reasonable manner, in good faith, with regard for only the public interest and not the private interest of the group or the individual, meaning the vendor, all right? I'm not going to go on with that anymore. Let me just make reference to our district policy now. We have a policy that was they were very circumspect when it was written, and it's policy EDC, and it's called Authorized Use of School Materials and Equipment. And along some of the bullets here, it says the district shall not be in competition with local business. That's number one. Policy DFF says that these activities are designed for educational purposes, not to make a profit or to be competitive with businesses in the community. Having said all of that, and I said initially that we set as precedents here, there is an abundance of dental offerings in the community. And the way I would see this is that if we allowed you guys to put your branch office is what it would be. It would be a branch service. Then what would preclude us from having somebody come in here and say Caesar's Pizza and say you know, we think we're gonna offer it, and we're gonna give cut rate and all those kinds of things. I don't want to belabor the point, but I think that we really need to make a decision in the best interest of what we're doing based on not only the statute, but based on that opinion and based on our own policy. The fact that she said that the fees would be exactly the same as they would be at the office tells me that they're not really benefiting, they're not gonna benefit any of our students. If she had said to me that if we see that there's needy students and they can't pay, then I would be very, very enthusiastic about letting them on there because, you know, these are students that otherwise wouldn't get those services. So anyway, having said all that, I'm gonna open it up for discussion and see how, you know, members of the board feel.
Yeah, Mr. President, may I have a couple of questions that come to my mind? Excuse me.
Thank you for being patient through all of that.
Yes.
Do you, with this, offer pediatric dental services? Is that what they are saying?
It's pediatric dental services, and we do offer up to 21 to be seen. This is a partnership with the Ronald McDonald House Charities. We do, when we are going to go into a new site, we do have to get the clear from them, and we do have to get a clear from the community. The reason why we decided to come to Douglas is because our provider, who is sitting right there, has got a lot of interest from parents at our own clinic, and that want us to be there and offer these services. For those parents that can't take off work, there's lots of parents that just can't leave work. It's just not an option. And that's what we're out here trying to do. We're trying to provide a service to parents who in situations who cannot take off work, and they can't, they absolutely cannot. They can't take 4 hours off for a dental appointment. And, you know, it's, sometimes these patients need treatment. We're gonna go in for an exam, we're gonna go in for a cleaning. If they need nothing more, then that's it. And those prices are reasonable. If they need treatment, and they need a lot of treatment, which we have noticed in communities such that we've been in so far, those could be hour-long procedures that parents can't just take off and sitting 30 minutes in the office to get checked in, an hour for their child to be seen and get the treatment done. That's what we're trying to offer, and that's what we're bringing per the interest that we've gotten from our own clinic and the parents in this community.
How many pediatric dentists are in this town? Do you know?
None.
None. I didn't think so.
Well,
None
probably
special.
most dentists will take some pediatric patients.
But not a specialty.
But not,
None
there's no-
specialist.
not the one that's a specialty.
When I see Ronald McDonald, I see that their services are free for cancer victims and things like that, and that's what I'm familiar with. And so I'm just wondering what your connection is to Chiricahua and Ronald McDonald.
So, but before, we had another mobile unit, it was called the Molar Patroller, and they brought it out to different communities, rural communities, and communities that weren't also rural. They brought it everywhere. They brought it to the schools, they brought it to, like I said, to parents who couldn't take the day off for their kids. That's what it was there for. And it was a very successful program. Unfortunately, years go on, 11 years, it wears on a generator, and we're not able to use that mobile anymore. So our dental director and our health center manager Ronald McDonald House Charities reached out to us. It's one of the kind. It's the only one in Arizona. I think it's the only one in the United States that has 3 operatories. They saw how successful our program was. They saw what differences we were making in these schools, and felt that we would be a good partnership to have. And I think that it is. I think that we are making a difference in these schools. Specifically, if I may mention Bisbee, Naco Elementary was a very successful site, and it's the same thing. There's a clinic there. I think there's a dentist there as well, and we don't want to compete with other dentists. We want to provide the care that they might not get from a dentist who sees mainly adults. Our dentists, our providers, our hygienists are trained to see these kids. They see kids back to back. Pediatrics is a #1 priority for us in all of our communities that we're in.
So what is the connection between a Ronald McDonald and your services?
It's a partnership for us to take the mobile out. They basically, what they see is our numbers. They want to see what we're bringing in. How many patients are we seeing? It's a partnership. It's not really so much of a connection as they want to see that they made a good investment because they built this unit for us to bring out into the communities of Cochise County.
So they funded it, I'm assuming.
They funded it.
Funded.
The mobile unit.
Yeah, the unit, okay. If you are based at the high school, how are you going to service the elementary schools?
With the schools, we do try to branch out into one school at a time. If we see that there is interest in this high school. They wanted to, we do see a lot of elementary schools, but we got more interest we go where we're asked to go, basically. And the interest was Douglas High School. The parents that have been asking, it has been about Douglas High School. And that's kind of how we are doing it right now. We went to the schools that we had already previously went to, McNeil, Pierce, Elfrida, and we're going to be going out to Wilcox as well. So, but we're going to where we're being called, where they feel like they want us and that they need us. And if they think that we're going to make a difference at their school, then we're going to open the doors and try to make that happen.
I'm not sure, or I'm not quite getting it in my mind why you need the schools to contact you when you can just park your vehicle at your office and then they would just come to your office.
Are you asking, well, like I said before, for the parents that cannot just go to our office, this is what this service is for. And these are also for the kids that just don't show up for their appointments, that their parents make the appointment and then just don't show up. This is a partnership between the school to get these kids onto the unit and get them seen for preventative care. Dental health is so important, and I don't think I can stress that enough. If these kids are in pain, if they're hurting, and they're not saying anything and are not going to be seen, there's nothing we can do. This is what we're trying to do. We're trying to come and stop them from hurting. We're trying to show them preventative care. We're trying to show them it is education. A lot of our hygienists, that's part of this. We're telling them how to clean their teeth. We're telling them what they need to do and how to take care of that. And it is different from us just parking outside our clinic, because these kids can't just go to the clinic and be seen by themselves. We have to get consent from the parents to see the kids at the school.
That's all for me.
Yes. What, compare the dental unit from the medical unit?
So the dental unit, we do procedures. We do root canals. We do fillings. We do
I
SDF.
understand, but what I'm saying is, let me ask it another way. Monetarily, what are the similarities to the medical bus that's there on certain times of the week to what would be yours, a dental bus?
What's this? I'm not sure.
Yeah, in other words, do the medical kids, when, let's say I'm a student at the high school and I feel sick and I go into your medical unit, okay? And you examine me, is there a charge?
Yes, we do. We bill out for insurances.
Okay, so basically, the medical and the dental are gonna be the same,
Yes.
yes. So, what you were talking about on the entity of the, of competing with the other people, it doesn't go because they already have a medical unit there that is competing with the other physicians, whereas there are more physicians in Douglas than there are dentists. Now, the idea that you can have them go in there for treatment is that you have to have the proper authorizations. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you're not gonna start doing work, maybe get them out of pain, which would be good, but if they need further work, then you're going to have to get those
We do have to get
authorizations.
a second consent. We have to send out a treatment plan to the parents.
And then there's another thing that we need to remember. Other than the dental clinic that's on, what's the name of that street? On 9th Street, you know? I think it's Douglas Dental or something like that. Okay. They might take access. But if they don't, then there's nobody that takes access in Douglas.
Okay.
Okay? And so, and when you get paid by access, you get paid what they want to pay you, not what you charge.
Okay.
Okay? And so then, that part of the population needs to have that access dentist available. And that's my thing. So, I don't think we're good, you would be competing. Now, the only other thing is that you're gonna be staffing it and using the bus. The supplies are gonna be provided by Ronald McDonald or whatever, and you're going to be doing that, just like you do with the medical.
Yes.
The only thing we're going to be giving you is just a place to park.
A park and to use the restrooms. That's it. It really is.
It doesn't have a bathroom?
No, it doesn't. It does not.
Okay, so anyway, that's what I wanted to clarify for you. That we're not going to be already, competing, because we're already doing it with the medical. With the dental, I think there's plenty of work to go around, especially in that niche, the access or the ones that don't have anything. And that might be something that you could strive for, to be able to take care of people that don't have any insurance,
Yes,
at least the emergency care.
emergency care, yes. And we do same-day appointments for emergency. If we have to call the parent the same day, your son has come in or your daughter has come in, they're in pain, can we see them? Can we do treatment? We're gonna do that. We're not gonna turn any children away, and we're not gonna ask for money for these kids either. We're gonna have a clear understanding between the parent, and most of the time it will be me, giving that information to the parent.
You will be pulling them out of class, so they will be able to use class time to do that?
Yeah.
You're gonna do it during the school day?
Yes.
you say?
Mm-hmm.
Does the school have any qualms about them taking kids out of school for that?
We already do it with the medical unit. They can use 3 periods for the upperclassmen.
So you can accommodate that?
Yeah, we can.
And you have no problem with it being competitive with any of the local dentists?
No.
Nobody knows better than you do?
Yeah.
And I will say, if I may, Mr. Brain, that as a parent myself of children at Douglas High School, that I have had the opportunity to use like the mobile unit that's already there, and not have me take them out of school and me take time off of work for something that could be, check their eyesight, check, it's a headache. So this opportunity for the children, and I will say that many of us that have to take time off of work to see a pediatric dentist, we have to go to Sierra Vista. And unfortunately, Chiricahua no longer takes our medical insurance, Humana Dental, so it have really affected many of us here at the district that have to go elsewhere for them to take our medical insurance.
But
Mitch,
my-
how do you feel about it?
Well, my other question is, when you go to the elementary schools, if there's a need, they don't have free periods. So then I think taking them out of class is even more disadvantageous to that student because of the elementary.
Well, right now, the focus will be, if accepted, at Douglas High School, like we said, the agreement is, but if the need becomes to where it needs to expand itself to elementaries, no child will go see them unless the parent has authorized it. And so obviously, we're not going to, miss a whole day to have a procedure done. And this is making it possible for the parents that can't take time off of work, or kids that normally don't like to miss a whole day of school or to go see a doctor, when they can just go get checked there during a free period of such.
Are you local? Are you from the local office?
No.
You're the supervisor.
I'm just.
You're
Oh, yes, she
oh,
is.
Yes,
you
she
are?
is.
Okay, good. All right, so, go ahead,
Just
Dr.
one more comment, and that is, and not that you're going to do it now, but it's something to look into from a public health standpoint, and that is young children, maybe 5th grade, 4th and 5th grade, for having an exam, cleaning, and then fluoride treatments.
We did do that. We did that at Naco Elementary. So we, like I said, we do have schools that come out to us and, want us to be interested. And it's a slow rolling process.
Sure.
We just started in July, so we went to all the schools that we originally started with. And, now that we've gotten out there a little bit more, schools are like, well, we're really interested in you coming to us. So, like I said, the interest from the Douglas High School parents has been very, they're letting us know often to our provider.
Okay, so Dr. Gomez, you're okay with it?
I'm okay, because
President?
here's another point. The children that are going to the local dentist, they're gonna continue. That, because that's what the parents want them to do. It's the ones that are kind of falling in the niche, that we need to get a hold of.
That's what we're trying to do. And we did see that in Naco Elementary, the kids that did kind of fall. And we were able to get them in and do back-to-back
Yeah.
treatments.
Yeah, I'd like to see the services for the access for the people that don't have insurance. I think that's a good thing for this, our community.
But that's up to them.
But
Yes,
the
and they
slight-
do have a slighter fee for,
But you will take the people that don't have insurance.
If they don't have insurance and they would like to sign up for our fee discount program, we do let the parents know. We don't just tell them no right off the bat. And like I said, we have the prompt pay and the self-pay incentives. We also give them the option to build their insurances. There's never just a no. There's always a way for us to see these kids. We don't want to tell anyone, and we don't want to discourage anyone from coming to see us if they don't have insurance. Our sliding fee discount program is a very good program for parents who kind of don't qualify for access, but will qualify with us.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Mr.
Well,
Moraine.
thank you for coming
Mr.
down.
Moraine, Mr. Ramos has a comment.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Mr. Ramos.
Yes, I just want a little clarification. If we approve this, what ramifications can we expect by going against our policy here?
Well,
My understanding was that we would be in violation of our policy.
no, we're not in violation of the policy because, as I pointed out, the memorandum of understanding is legal. And the
It's been
attorney's
approved.
already stated that if the board wanted to use its discretion, and that's the reason I pointed out certain parts of the Attorney General's opinion in our own policy, but I think that the law always lets local governing boards use their discretion in these types of decisions. And I think, Mr. Ramos, that my concern was that if they were given an unfair advantage to some of our local people, then I would be concerned. Chiricahua does offer a very, very good service to this community. And actually, they're occupying two of the school buildings, one of which I would have never sold to you, but the previous board did. Because that one building, the loss of those two buildings became that charter school on F Avenue. This is just minutia, and I'm sure you're not interested in this. But anyway, I think we're okay in doing it, Mr. Ramos, as long as we feel that we've exercised our discretion and it's done favorably for the students. So I have no problem with it now, especially after Dr. Gomez, who is a former dentist, by the way. I don't know if you know.
Okay. Well, thank you for your clarification.
Thank you. All right, thank you very much. Appreciate you coming down.
No problem.
And you as well. Entertain a motion to approve
I move to approve.
by Mr. Redmond, second by Dr. Gomez. Any discussion? Oh, my God, I looked over there and saw Jimena.
Party time.
Go ahead
Hi,
and,
welcome. This is Mr. Lindeman. And this is you know, we're just having fun. We're not being critical.
No, yeah,
Roll call.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes?
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes,
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Bahrain?
Yes. Do you want to allow Jimena to give her
Sure.
report? Do you have a report,
Definitely.
Jimena?
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I kind of lost track on time. I was doing homework.
You're all
So,
right. We're just kidding.
okay,
You're
so,
tardy.
I'm sorry. I'm not like this.
Mr. Walker.
No.
She'll be in my office in the morning.
I will, yeah. Okay, so the Douglas High School report is as follows. Cochise College AccuPlacer dates are in progress for seniors and I believe some juniors. I'm not sure about that yet. And then DHS counselors, along with Cochise College and the Mexican Consulate, will have a Douglas Education Night for seniors, which will include college recruiters speaking about, their college and then scholarships and transfer information. And the event will be on March 18th at the DHS Auditorium, and it will be given at 5. And Douglas High School is ranked 5th place in the state for FAFSA completion, having 60% of seniors having it completed. So we want to get everyone to finish it. And ASVAB testing dates for juniors will be announced soon. I'm pretty sure it's going to be towards the end of the month. And report cards will be sent home on March 20th. And AZ Merit and AIMS testing will be taken towards the end of the month. And following that, CTE skills testing will be taking at the beginning of April. And with sports, spring sports started off, and the DHS baseball and softball are 3-0 in their respective tournaments so far. And this weekend, track and field will hold their 89th annual Ted James Invitational, Saturday, March 7th. And
Okay,
pretty much
great.
it.
All right.
Can I add something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, because you forgot to mention that the boys came in second in
Yeah,
the state.
in the
for soccer.
semifinals, the boys
Yeah.
soccer made it to this. Well, third.
Semifinals.
Semifinals.
Yes, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
And then they went to play in the, baseball team went to play in the Cesar Chavez tournament.
Yes, this
and
past
then
weekend.
They won, the record was 4-1, losing in the final,
Yes.
in the
They
finals.
made it to the finals as well.
Okay, good, thank you, Madam.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Item L, discussion action on the approval of adding advanced placement biology class to Douglas High School. Ms. Amadeo?
Yes, Mr. Walker, you want to come up? And we're bringing this to you because anytime we add any courses to our regular course offerings, that needs to be board approved. So Mr. Walker and his staff want to add an AP biology class. So, Mr. Walker?
Okay.
I have Mr. Hinahos here, who is our science department chair. So we would like to add AP biology to Douglas High School as a course offering for next year. It would add another science, AP. We currently have AP physics, and AP biology would be a different direction for those students in the sciences. Mr. Hinahos brought it to my attention, and so I was all for it. And I was told Mr. Hinahos, you're going to be there to present to the board. So if you have any questions.
What does it do to the schedule?
It won't do anything to our schedule. It will be
You just
I don't
going
know.
to name it the advanced?
The AP biology.
AP biology.
Yeah, so you're just going to make some of the current classes?
It'll take place of one of the current biology
Oh, okay.
classes, yes. So it fits, we've already kind of figured out where it would go, and it fits perfectly.
Members of the board?
Oh, I thought he was gonna present something, but I got a question.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
he was there for questions.
Okay, and do you have somebody, excuse the word, qualified to teach AP biology?
Oh, yes, yes. We actually have one of our best biology teachers taking up the task.
Okay,
Mr. Lindeman?
Who would that be?
Yes, the teacher in question would be Mrs. Maribel Kudabek.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I guess that's it. You- Nothing else?
I'm good if you're.
We're good? We're good.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay,
I
your
move to
recommendation
approve.
is to?
To accept, yes, to approve this class.
Entertain a motion to?
I move to approve.
second?
By Dr. Gomez. Roll call.
Mr. Ramos?
Mr. Ramos?
Yes. I have the mute on.
Mr. Lindeman?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Bereen?
Yes. Announcements. Any announcements?
No, just a spring break next week, so our schools will be closed. All of our principals and assistant principals have a vacation embedded in their contract, so you will not see them. You'll see them in Cancun. Some of you. Just don't come out on TV.
You don't have any going to Italy.
No, none of them are going to Italy, no, and no,
All right, item.
China?
or China.
China, or South Korea, or whatever. Item 6, executive session. The governing board may vote into executive session to consider the disciplinary recommendations based upon the hearing officer's findings of fact and conclusions of law concerning the discipline of student A, followed by consideration of the hearing officer's recommendation based on the findings and concerns of the discipline of student B. In each case, the board may accept the recommendation of the hearing officer to expel or long-term suspend the student, modify the recommendation of the hearing officer, or reject the recommendation of the hearing officer. Pursuant to ARS 15-343A, the board can discuss and vote on the findings and recommendations of the hearing officer in executive session. Entertain a motion to go into executive session to discuss student A and B.
I move to go into executive session.
Second.
By Dr. Gomez. Roll call.
Mr. Ramos?
Mr. Ramos?
That's a good meal.
Mr. Ramos, can you hear me?
Okay, let's go on.
Mr. Lindeman?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Bereen?
Yes.
Randy.
that too. I remember when I was here as interim, they had 5 people, they call 5. executive
Back and
session.
forth, back and forth.
Okay, we're back in open meeting, and we're on item 7. The governing board may vote into executive session pursuant to ARS 38-431.03, subsection A, number 1, for the following personnel matter: consideration of a 2019-2020 certified teacher to be released from contract. Motion by
I move to go into executive session.
Mr. Lynn, second by Dr. Gomez. We're back in executive session. We promise you it won't take that long.
You guys are free to go. Good night. You guys can go.
We actually, just for your information, we could have done them all under one vote, but that was my error. I didn't see that last item on there. We could have done them all.
We just wanted to see you all again.
Sit, stand.
See, you get your
Sit,
exercise.
stand.
Okay, we're back in open session, and I will entertain a motion to release the teacher discussed in executive session from her contract with no liquidated damages.
I will make that motion.
By Mr. Lindman, second by Dr. Gomez. Roll call.
Mr. Ramos?
Mr. Ramos? Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes?
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Salvat? I mean, Dr. Rain. I'm looking at my list.
Entertain a motion to adjourn
I move to adjourn.
by Dr. Gomez, second